Hi, I'm Lucia, and I wanted to pass along a message from my father regarding everlasting life. Just a little background. My mother was a pretty spiritual person. She and I saw eye to eye on most things. My father, on the other hand, was what he considered a Unitarian. He believed that he got himself where he was in his life on his own, with no help from any kind of a God. And in 2016, my mom and pop crossed over within a month of each other. My mom was the first to cross over, and that was rather surprising to all of us. She wasn't really sick per se, it was a sudden crossing. And then about a week later, my father, who had dementia at that time and was kind of a shell of himself, he went unconscious for 3 hours about a week afterwards. And his vitals went low, but everything else was okay. And he came back like nothing had been going on. Then about 2 weeks later, he went unconscious again for 12 hours. And that was the time that he passed. And I know that at 10:28 p.m. that night, I was with him in spirit. My sister was with him physically, and I saw a flash of bright white light, and I knew that his soul had crossed over at that time. Well, it had been about 4 years since that time, and I am a channeler, so I have contacted beings from other dimensions, and I had contacted my parents a little bit, but not a lot. And sometimes I think it's better to get an objective viewpoint from somebody else regarding connections of that sort. So I asked, about a week ago, I asked Megan the Medium, who has a YouTube channel, a very good one. She's very accurate and very good at what she does. I asked her to do a psychic reading for me. So she went ahead and contacted my mom and my pop for me, especially after validating a lot of information that only they would know. So I was very comfortable that it was in fact them. And the first message that my father gave me from beyond went like this. Megan asked me, she says, I'm seeing him. She said, would it make sense to you to see him holding a Bible? And I said, no, not really. And she said, well, let me check. So she went back and she talked with him a little bit more, and she came back and she said, okay, well, would it make sense that you would consider your father agnostic during his lifetime? And I said, yes, that's accurate, I think. And she says, okay, well, she says, I see him right now holding a Bible. And he's pointing to 2 words, and the words are everlasting life. And I just about started crying, because basically my father was telling me, yeah, you were right. It's real. I'm here. My soul is still going on in everlasting life. And it was just wonderful to hear that message from my father. And so he actually, a few days later, asked me to pass along this message to others. And that's why I'm doing this video, because he wants others to hear from beyond that it is real and it is everlasting. Just a little additional information. My mom used to always tell my dad, apparently, when my dad would be having a bad day, to keep the faith. And I didn't know she ever said that to my father. And so he was then now telling me to keep the faith. He says, now I know, now I understand, keep the faith. He said, and I'm telling you to keep the faith. So he's come a long way. And it was so awesome to hear all that from my father. So Pop, I love you, and thank you for the message. And I hope you all listening found some insight from this message. And I hope that all is well with all of you. Thank you for listening. Namaste.